Today we are going to give you some fall activities for sensory processing. However, you can use this all year round. And as we do this, I'm also going to talk about sensory processing disorder, share why and how these activities work, and what response you may or may not get when you do this with your kiddos. It's gonna be in the style of a vlog or day in the life, so let's just get going. It's time to have girly sensory day.
And now there's something in the air, and a small shimmering on our skin, restoring everything within.
So today we actually are going to use these pumpkins for a fun little sensory activity for Naomi and even Hannah. Nope, can't touch the knife. We're also going to be attempting pumpkin pie. Hopefully it turns out right, but she's gonna get involved with all of it, right? Do you wanna play?
Can we open it up?
Play?
Yeah.
So let's open them up and let's play with some seeds. The gunk inside of it.
Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the ground.
So I'm gonna take the girls outside to just kind of pull out the seeds, and this is just sensory in itself, and I'm gonna have them actually lay them down on some aluminum foil because I'm gonna roast these babies. I did make 3 of them because it does take about 3 cups of cooked pumpkin to make a pumpkin pie. Any child could have sensory processing disorder. It's not just Down syndrome, autism, or even ADHD, which in fact, ADHD has a lot of sensory issues. But besides that, I think a lot of us do have a lot of sensory issues. So I think that's why it's important to expose our children, regardless of whether or not they have special needs, to a variety of textures with different temperatures and even with different body parts like your feet, and even feeding can be affected by sensory processing disorder. You ever have that kid that doesn't like certain foods, but then when you puree them, he's fine with eating them? Probably sensory processing. Naomi's sensory needs are a little bit more intense. She does not want to touch it. I had to do a little hand over hand with her. I had to work with her a little bit. She did not want to do it. She screamed at one point, walked away, and even though her resistance was a lot milder than some, her interaction was a lot less than her sister's. We do a variety of textures with her. I try to get her to play with everything from Play-Doh to food to even paper mache, which you'll see later. I even have her walk on it, rub it on her arms or legs, and eat it. If she doesn't want to touch it, I will rub it all over her hands and describe the sensation that she feels. Slimy.
Yeah, Mommy
Slime.
touched it. Did you touch it? I wish you guys were here so you could feel it. It's so slimy and fun.
Can you touch it, Naomi?
Ow! Look. That.
Did you get it on your legs?
Put your hand. I know. You touched it. Mommy, it's getting on me.
What is this kind of walk? Wait, no, we're not going inside. No, ma'am. Now it's time to make some pumpkin pie. And yes, this is another sensory activity because they're gonna help mix it. So here's the super quick recipe for the crust. You need 2 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of salt, 2/3 cup and 2 tablespoons of butter, and you need to cut it in, a 1/2 cup of water. Now nothing mixes the crust better than hands, like seriously. Don't even try using a mixer or a Vitamix, like nothing. Like just get your hands, and this is a great opportunity. Why not get them involved?
Make it even bigger. Now can you show your hands?
Next, the pumpkin mix, which they can also get their hands into. You want to do 3 cups of cooked pumpkin, 1.5 cup of cream. We actually used almond milk and it turned out absolutely fine. 2 eggs, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 to 3 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 2 3/4 cups of honey. We also added some sucanat. Sucanat is basically dried sugar cane. It's natural and organic. It's just a little extra. You don't have to use it, just add some sweetness. When it's time to put everything all together, you can work on their pushing skills. Now with Naomi's sensory processing disorder, she can't really tell how hard or how soft she is pushing, or when she's supposed to do soft or hard. So this is something that we're always working on. We do always seem to start with hand over hand, and after a while she usually does kind of warm up to whatever we're touching.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain. Beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
Next, we pour in the pumpkin mix, and yes, I did use a mixer on it after the kids kind of played with it. We pop it in the oven at 400 degrees for an hour. Now for me, while things are cooking, I like to get my kids to clean up. And yep, this is sensory processing as well, because she's touching something wet and having to push down on it. Somehow she thinks it's fun. I'm just gonna go with that. Now, as you can see, it turned out amazing. My husband even kept asking me, "Are you sure this is not store-bought?" I'm telling you, those fingers mixing those ingredients together, I think that did the trick. Now, don't think that I forgot about feeding as sensory processing. Yep, we have to eat the pie somehow, and of course, Naomi, anytime we try any new foods, it just kind of resets everything for her when it comes to eating. It's always the tongue out of the mouth the first time, but I guarantee you by the end of the week, actually, truly, by the end of the week, she was down in that thing more than, it was her favorite. Let me just say that. It was her favorite. Now, pie making was not the only thing that we did this fall. We also did some paper mache. That's because my kids, for their art class, had a project that they had to do at home with paper mache. And of course, we did this with Naomi, and I think she got into this way more than she did with the pie making. I don't know if it's because it was sticky and not slimy. I mean, it could have been the color because the pumpkin was more darker and this was white. There was more of an action to it. And I do like this activity too because she had a lot of gentle pats that she had to do. In fact, I do want to mention that when Naomi's occupational therapist found out that my kids had this project, she made sure that Naomi was involved somehow. And I hope this video really helped you learn more about sensory processing and some reactions you may get when you're really trying to get your kids into those different textures and temperatures and even taste. I hope it gave you some great ideas that you can do this fall or even any time during the year. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, journey with us as we raise and homeschool our exceptional children. And I'm gonna stick some videos around my face right now, and I hope to see you guys later in one of our videos. Thanks for hanging out.